Good morning, everyone. Here we are again with our last lesson for this week. Today, we're going to continue with the Cambridge Checkpoint book. So, prepare your books and let's start together. We're going to have 5 points to cover for today. The first one is going to be about spelling words practice, and it's the first thing that we're going to have today. After that, we're going to have paragraph change. When do we have a new paragraph? When should we start a new paragraph? And the third thing will be working on text. We will have text in our books and we will work on them. The fourth point will be finding moral lessons in stories. And finally, we will pass by in a really quick way to talk about intonation and why is it important. So, arriving to the first thing that we're going to study today, spelling. I know that this may not be a test or something because we're all in different places. However, it's always beneficial to work on words, to know new words, know how to write them. So I really hope you guys take it seriously and have these 16 words. Try to practice them at home. So I will give you the meanings of each one of these so that you know it. First one is photosynthesis. Well, we dealt with this 2 days ago when we talked about the processes that happen with plants. And we talked at the same day about carbon dioxide. So what's carbon dioxide? It is a chemical element which is really important for plants. The third one is aerobic respiration. Again, it's another process that happens with plants. Moving on to glucose. Glucose is very important for energy as we know, and it's a simple sugar. And after that we have the word associate. Associate means to connect. The word after that would be approximately. Approximately means nearly or almost. Another word is essential. Essential means very important. The word that follows is horizon. Horizon is the point where the surface of Earth and sky appear to meet. To continue with the word advertising. Advertising is simply commercials. When people want to show other people what they have, the product that they want to sell, they use advertising. Another word is seagulls. What are seagulls? They're kind of birds that usually own coastal areas. After that, we have the word argument. When you argue about something, you want to show that you're right and you want to persuade others to convince them. The word after it would be traditional. What's the meaning of traditional? Traditional means classic or conventional. After that, we would have relevant. Relevant means connected. The word after it is really new for us because usually we use the word summary, while synopsis can mean the same thing exactly. The word intonation, we're going to have a separate explanation for that in the end. And the final word would be variety, which means different or diverse. As I said, I want you guys to work on these spelling words even if we're not doing a test in it. The new topic that we have here is a paragraph change. It's simply when to have a new paragraph in our writing when we have an like story or essay, we should know when we need to shift to a new paragraph. So the basic question would be, when do we start a new paragraph? The answer would be, we start a new paragraph in one of the following cases. The first case is when a change of topic happens. If you're talking about a certain thing and then you shift to another thing, you change to another thing, then you have to put it in a separate paragraph, not with the same one, because that may let the reader puzzled or confused. The other one will be the time change. If you're talking about something in the morning, you're describing what you did in the morning, and then by the end of the day, you're talking something about what happened at night. You shouldn't keep these two in the same paragraph because, again, it will make the reader puzzled. So these two should be in separate paragraph. A change in place is very important as well. For example, if I'm sitting here in my house just talking or sleeping, and something else happened in another place in France, for example, I shouldn't state it in the same paragraph. It should be different, of course. And the last one is the change in action. A change in action is when you're doing something like ordinary or usual, and then another thing happens, something that is really different, unusual, or surprising. So here we're going to start reading a text on page 60. This text is about a seagull. We will read it and we will notice that it doesn't contain any paragraph changing. So this is a very wrong thing, and we would notice that this should be at least 5 paragraphs because a change of topic, because a change of time, you should figure out where all these changes are. So I advise you to stop the video right now and try to open page 60 and find where are the paragraph changes. So when you finish that, we will give you the right answers. If you want to show where the paragraph ends, just put a line. So if you read it and found out where are these places of paragraph changes, then you did a good job. If not, follow up with me and find the reasons why we would have 5 different paragraphs here. So I will start reading this text from the beginning. Follow up with me, please. It was morning, and the new sun sparkled gold across the ripples of a gentle sea. A mile from shore, a fishing boat chummed the water, and the word for breakfast flock flashed through the air, till a crowd of 1,000 seagulls came to dodge and fight for bits of food. You will notice here that the writer explained the whole situation, and now he's going to move to another day because he simply said it was another busy day beginning. So there is a shift of time here. So we're going to start a new paragraph. It was another busy day beginning, but way off, alone, out by himself beyond boat and shore, Jonathan Livingston Seagull was practicing. 100 feet in the sky, he lowered his webbed feet, lifted his beak, and strained to hold a painful heart-twisting curve through his wings. The curve meant that he would fly slowly, and now he slowed until the wind was whisper in his face. Until the ocean stood still beneath him, he narrowed his eyes in fierce concentration, held his breath, forced one single more inch of curve, then his feathers ruffled. He stalled and fell. So here you will notice that there is another paragraph finish. We will start a new paragraph when we say, seagulls, as you know, never falter. So why did we start a new paragraph? Because we finished this event. This bird flew on the ground, and now we would say why seagulls are like different from this one. So we will continue reading with, seagulls, as you know, never falter, never stall. To stall in the air is for them disgrace, and it's dishonor. But Jonathan Livingston Seagull, unshamed, stretching his wings again in that trembling hard curve, slowing, and stalling once more, was no ordinary bird. So we mentioned that this one is different from all the others. Here again, we're going to have this new paragraph. We would say most girls, because we came back to the goals here, most girls don't bother to learn more than the simplest facts of flight. This is a topic change, right? So, how to get from shore to food and back again for most girls, it's not flying that matters, but eating. For this girl, though, it was not eating that mattered, but flight. So, this one again finished, and we start with the last paragraph. More than anything else, Jonathan Livingston Seagull loved to fly. This kind of thinking, he found, is not the way to make oneself popular with other birds. Even his parents were dismayed as Jonathan spent whole days alone making hundreds of low-level glides, experimenting. So, one thing that I want you to remember is when we have such paragraphs and we start new paragraphs, don't forget the indent. It's the most important thing, this space that you leave at the beginning of each paragraph. Now, we will continue with another text about seagulls, which is in page 61. We would see here that this one is perfectly cut into different three paragraphs. These two in this page, and there is another one in the other page. So let's see what's missing here, and we will try to read the paragraph and see what's happening. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. You would see that this paragraph finished because in the other paragraph we're going to talk about not the seagull but about its brother and sister. So we start the paragraph with even when each of his brother and his little sister, and you move on. So it's a totally different topic. It's not about him. It's not about it. Sorry, it's about its brother and sister. So if we continue with the other page, you will notice that there is a new paragraph. Why was this a new paragraph? We will see. That was 24 hours ago. So now we're talking about a whole different day. So why did we change the paragraph? Yes, that's true. We changed it because it's a time change. And a time change should be with a new paragraph. Okay, so the most important thing here, since we talked yesterday about commas, we would know that there are many commas missing and many full stops missing in this text. So in exercise number 7, we would talk about, and that will be in page 62, we would have 3 things to do. The first one is to go back to page 61 and try to find all the missing full stops in the first paragraph only. In the first paragraph, we have 4 missing full stops. After you finish this, you would go to the other one. Put the 7 missing commas back in the second paragraph. So you would notice that in the second paragraph, there are 7 commas missing. While in the last paragraph, we have many missing commas and full stops. So what I want from you guys is to stop the video right now and start figuring out where can you find missing full stops, when can you find missing commas. I would give you tips for full stops. Whenever you find something like an idea finished and you see that there is no connector, you would find a full stop there. So if you find 3 of the 4 that are missing, then you're doing very excellent job. As for commas, it's harder to find them. So if you found at least 4 or 5, then you're good. Now stop the video and start working on it, and after that we will see how did you do. Okay, here we are with the solutions of what you just did. I hope that you all tried. It's important that you would try to do things yourself, not only finding the solution, not only seeing the solutions in front of you. You should work to find them. So, we would read the first paragraph and see the young seagull was alone in his ledge. Okay, this idea finished, so he put a full stop to finish it. His two brothers and his sister, he will continue with that. Okay, so the first one is this green full stop. After that, we would have another one went away the day before. Okay, full stop here. As you see, all the solutions are in front of you, and you saw that all the ideas here finished, so a full stop is needed since there is no connector, no conjunction. Moving to the second paragraph, we would see many commas missing. So, in the second paragraph, you will see that we have a comma before whose, and we learned that in Global English. Whenever we have whose, who, which, we should have a comma before that. So you have the first comma here. After that, you will have 3 commas. Why? Because here we're stating actions. We're saying ran to the brink, flapped their wings and flew away. He failed to muster up courage to take that plunge, comma, which. Again, we said it, always before which. We have another one, the ones that surround scolding him. That's because this action is new for it. So he put it between these 2 commas. And the last paragraph is full with these full stops and commas as we explained. Now, for the new topic, which is finding a moral lesson. What's a moral lesson? Well, a moral lesson is something you learn from a story, a fable, whatever, any story. So, how to know a moral lesson? This is usually by the end of each story. When you read it and you would think about it, you would think of what happened to the character traits, the problem and solution, the change that happened on the character, the lesson the character learned, which is that's the most important for our moral lesson. So, for example, if we're talking about the story of the guy that always used to lie, and then by the end his house was on fire, he went and asked the people for help, but nobody believed him because he was always lying, and the house was on fire until the end, it was burnt. So we would notice that there is a moral lesson here. What's the moral lesson? Don't you ever lie. That's a simple way to explain moral lessons. Moving on to the last thing in our video, which is intonation. I just wanted to talk about intonation because most of my students, when they read, well, let's say some of them, when they read in the same tone. They do not change. Well, people are not robots. They don't say things in the same line. So you should make these changes in your voice, in your sound. So intonation is pitch is raising and lowering the voice while speaking. The use of pitch is called intonation, the pitch of your sound. The way we use changes in pitch to convey meaning and mood. So if I say, you're coming, then I see that from far that my friend is coming. While if I say, you're coming, well, there is a change in my voice here. I made intonation. So here I'm asking, are you coming or not? So that's the difference in intonation, and I hope that you learned everything in this lesson for today. Finally, we reach our homework. Today's homework is going to be a Cambridge Checkpoint workbook. It's going to be only 3 exercises in Unit 5. Exercise 6, 7, and 8. I hope that you learned from this lesson and that you enjoyed it. And that was all for today. Thank you so much for watching.